Well, Jim, let's get some more questions in. This next one was sent to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com from, looks like Jim in Corbin, Kentucky.
Oh, come on now. If that is indeed his real name and place, that's awfully suspicious.
I recently re-listened to episode 132 of the Drive-Thru, specifically the segment on Vince's banned words. At one point you mentioned Terry Funk would be showing up as Chainsaw Charlie, and what a conundrum this has caused me. Vince obviously didn't want Terry Funk there. Why did he hire him? Was it as a favor to Mick Foley, perhaps? Who brings in an older wrestler who was just on WCW a few years ago and throws them under a hood for a new gimmick? And brings them out of a box with a chainsaw? What an entrance for some weird masked lumberjack. Do you know anything about his hiring or why they chose to give him the gimmick? Thanks. And that's it.
I don't know whether Vince particularly wanted Terry back. Everybody else wanted Terry, right? I definitely wanted Terry. Jim Ross wanted Terry. Even Bruce Pritchard wanted Terry. I don't know. I have heard that Terry suggested the Chainsaw Charlie thing.
I had heard the same.
And I suspect that it may have been because of the previous time that Terry had agreed to work there, and they expected him to be he was going to originally be one of Lawler's knights at Survivor Series. What was it, 93, 94? Which year was that?
93, yeah, with Jeff Gaylord,
Okay.
Greg Valentine, yeah.
Yeah, and he got there and found out he was going to be on the losing team, and they were all going to get unmasked, and he left the note on the outside of Vince's hotel room door and said, "Vince, sorry, had to go home and take care of my sick horse. Thanks, Terry." And he left. So Chainsaw Charlie was Terry Funk's nickname for John Ayers, his friend that used to play in the NFL and passed away of cancer. And I think, because I was hot when I heard he was going to be Chainsaw Charlie, and I'm like, how the fuck did this happen? What's going on? I blamed Shitstain for a while because he was around then. But I think it was probably Terry said, well, at least it won't be the name Terry Funk doing whatever the fuck that I might be doing. But I had the argument with Kevin Dunn at the production meeting because Chainsaw Charlie's debut was in Madison Square Garden. And I can't remember how it came up, but Kevin Dunn swore that nobody was going to know that it was Terry Funk. And I mean, you're out of your fucking mind. Well, Jim, no. Terry Funk hasn't worked here in years. Yes, but this is Madison Square Garden in New York City, and these are probably the smartest fans we're going to find. And not only has Terry Funk been on WCW last year, but on television for the last 20 years in every major wrestling organization and territory. And just because you put pantyhose over his head, they're going to know it's Terry Funk. You're out of your mind. Well, Jim, that's completely different audiences. So, of course, when he comes out of the fucking thing and he's got the chainsaw up in it over the air and he's doing that circular loping walk, I don't know how else to describe it. You know what I'm talking about, Brian. That he did, the people in the garden start chanting, Terry, Terry, Terry. So there you have it. But if it was what Terry wanted to do, then that was fine with me because at least we had Terry Funk around. But even with that, there was issues with Kevin Dunn thinking, oh, this would be a brand new persona. Nobody will know who it is. You fucking Bugs Bunny Tooth moron.
And that's all you have to say about the creation of Chainsaw Charlie.
That's pretty much what it was. That's what happened. And then primarily Terry wanted to team up with Cactus. Cactus obviously wanted to team up with Terry. But the Chainsaw Charlie thing was it was thrown in there to make things weird in whatever respect. But don't blame Vince for that whole thing.